Good morning, and welcome to the Africa Weekly Talk. Today's subject on the docket is the 2026 Afcon Wahala. The 2026 Afcon tournament that took place in Casablanca, Morocco, early this year is now embroiled in another controversy. Fellows, it's now embroiled in another serious controversy. But this time not on the field, like it happened during the tournament, but rather by CAF's appeals board's decision to strip the championship tournament from Senegal and award it to Morocco. And now this has created a lot of hoopla, a lot of anger by Senegal fans and other African fans, and are pretty much fans all over, football fans all over the world. Now Africa has become the laughing stock. And people now talking about how this is going to destroy African football and how sad this decision by CAF's appeal board is. But fellas, I was surprised just like everybody else on this decision. But also, we shouldn't be surprised when you live in a system, in a society, on a continent where corrupt systems are embedded in our cultural practices day in and day out throughout almost every country on that continent. Then we shouldn't be surprised with this bad decision by these so-called CAF appeal board members. This decision by these board members is reverberating all across the world, especially when you're talking about football. But fellows, this decision that was made by this appeals board was short-sightedness. Because if you look at the decision, it was basically centered on CAF's own bylaws of Article 82 and 84, which states clearly that a team that leaves the field in a tournament forfeits the tournament and it's awarded to the opponent team. It states clearly in there. Nobody disputes that. But where this becomes a problem is that the referee, who from the very beginning showed his ineptness of managing the game, should have made that call right when the Senegalese players left the field. At that particular moment, Article 82 and 84 kicks in, and the referee should never have allowed the Senegalese players to return to continue the game. But that's not what happened, fellas. That idiot referee continued the game and allowed Morocco to take the penalty kick, ended the regulation time, and went to extra time. At that moment, Article 82, 83, and 84 of CAF has been nullified, because the referee now has pretty much reinstated the game and has technically nullified Article 83 and 84 of CAF's own rules. So for the CAF appeals board to make that decision is mind-boggling. I don't know how they read it, because at the end of the day, the rules are there for it to be implemented in the course of activity on the field. And when you allowed the players to return onto the pitch and continue the game, you've already nullified your own rule. So you cannot use Article 82 and 84 to award 3 points and the tournament to Morocco. That's where they screwed up. Because if the referee had stopped the game and implemented Article 82 and 84 right after stopping the game. I don't even think Senegal would even dare to appeal because they will have nothing to appeal because it wasn't going to, Senegal couldn't have even appealed that decision because it showed clearly that Senegal had forfeited the game. And Article 82 and 83, 84 have been implemented by CAF. And nobody will be fighting or get angry over this issue. Because at the end of the day, Senegalese were the ones who created that dilemma for themselves. And this is where it changes. But when the referee allowed them to come back on the field and continue, that changes the whole situation. Now, you have allowed the players to come on, continue the game, gone into extra time, and now they win the game in extra time. And now, Morocco Football Federation files appeal, which I don't blame them because Morocco is trying to do everything possible to win the tournament. If they couldn't win it on the field, they have to find every way and means to win it on paper. So they will do what is best for Morocco. So I don't blame Morocco for doing that. But it is the CAF Appeals Board members' decision. That is what is mind-boggling. Because they should never have come to that decision. I mean, look, this is the time that they should have had like King Solomon kind of wisdom decision making. I mean, should I look at everything and said, hold on, fellas. Yes, 82 and 84 was violated by Senegal. But guess what? If the referee continued the game and also the hoopla that this thing is going to cause, you know what? This is the time we have to use our brains, our wisdom to make a decision that will not impact the African Football Federation as well as make Africa the laughing stock of the world today. But unfortunately, those sisters at the CAF Board appeals didn't come to their senses to even think beyond Article 82 and 84 of CAF regulations, which they even, to me, in my opinion, misinterpreted it. By the end of the day, fellas, I know you guys have heard a lot of commentary on this issue because you go on YouTube and other social networks and pretty much everybody talking about it. ESPN, Sky Sports, European Sports, I mean, everywhere talking about this decision and people giving their opinions on this decision. To the extent that, as a matter of fact, now you have even Guinea going back to 1976, from what I heard and read, also demanding that Morocco to forfeit 1976 Afcon tournament championship that they won when they also walk off the field against Guinea. It doesn't even get better. I mean, are you kidding me? Oh my, Mama Africa. Where did we go wrong for the past 1,000 years? Where did we go wrong? It is unfortunate and sad, fellows. So now Guinea also wants that tournament to be awarded to them based on the same rule that the CAF Appeals Board is applying to Senegal today. I mean, hey, who can blame Guinea? I mean, they're saying, hold on, fellas. If you're going to go back and use that rule against Senegal, then let's go back 1976. How many years ago? 50 years ago? And also do what? And also strips Morocco of the tournament and also award us. Anyway, fellas. And then also coming to find out that the Senegal Football Federation and the Senegal government have also alleged and is asking world organizations or calling for investigations into CAF's corruption practices. You see, this is where I'm going to dive in and move from what everybody has been talking about, because I'm not going to talk about just the football of it, because this is the big deal. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, when Senegal is now alleging the corruption in CAF. That's what now we have to talk about. Because the broader picture of this decision that was made by the appeals board reverberates through all African governmental systems, culture, and everything. Because if Senegal is now asking for corruption investigation, guess what, fellas? I think the Senegal president should just call Donald Trump. Just call Donald J. Trump and ask Donald Trump for help for FBI of the United States of America to lead that investigation for Senegal and the continent of Africa. Because at the end of the day, the FBI have already done it. Let's not forget 2015, when FIFA president Sepp Blatter and there were 14 or 15 top executives of FIFA were pretty much indicted for fraud in FIFA. So I get it. I get where Senegal is going with this. And nobody should be surprised. I mean, I'm not in Senegal. I don't know what Senegal knows. I don't know what Senegal have. But nobody should be surprised. Because it has happened before. When the US government, led by the Attorney General and FBI, investigated FIFA and found out the corrupt practices of FIFA. And in the end, some were indicted, some went to jail. They had to forfeit all their bribery and corrupt money that they made off of FIFA. And all of this was led by the United States of America. If not for the United States of America, in 2015, the level of corruption in FIFA will still be reverberating all across the world. But the United States of America, as it always does, led the way and brought down the corrupt practices of FIFA. So if Senegal wants CAF to be investigated for corruption and so on and so forth, hey, the Senegalese president was here, a couple of months ago, just dialed Donald J. Trump or put a request into the US government so that they will use the FBI. Because they're going to do it. If they accept it, they will do it. And investigate CAF. Because Senegal strongly believes that CAF, and I don't think it's just Senegal. I mean, most African countries, I think, and most citizens on that continent believes that the CAF is corrupt. And they have every right to believe that. Because like I said, FIFA itself, we found out that it was a very corrupt organization. And it's not just CAF, but all these continental football federations. A lot of their bosses were all implicated in that 2015 FBI investigations. So if Senegal wants to pursue that, kudos to Senegal. Let's pursue it. And at the end of the day, they can go all the way to the rabbit hole and find out who took what and what happened during the 2026 Afcon tournament. But fellows, you see, as Africans, we cannot just single out corruption of football and be angry at this decision by the CAF Appeals Board and say, oh, the CAF is corrupt. No. You see, unfortunately, our African culture and practices is embedded in our corrupt systems. And it is not just the governments and our institutions and these NGOs and African Union, but rather the citizens on that continent are also part of the problem. The whole cultural practices on that continent of corruption is embedded in our culture. That's a fact, fellows. So if we are going to look at what has just happened with regards to CAF, then we have to look at the bigger picture of how corruption has seeped through all our systems of government, African Union, NGOs, and every institution on that continent. Because for these things to happen, you have to live by that system for it to happen. It should have been accepted in our culture and our systems for this to happen. Like the old saying goes, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. And if you live by corruption, you're also going to die and be destroyed by corruption. So this issue of CAF is not just CAF. Let's move beyond CAF and look at our own systems. The level of corruption that is embedded in our various African countries and our societies. That has become part of our culture. Because on that continent, from the south to the north, from the east to the west, it's all embedded with corrupt governments, corrupt NGOs, and at the head of it is the corrupt African Union. So if we want to deal with this issue and not to be a laughing stock to the world, then guess what, fellas? We have to look deeper into our own systems and ask ourselves, how do we cleanse ourselves from these corrupt systems? Because these corrupt systems transmit through all our government systems, as well as our private systems and international organizations that operate within our systems, and so on and so forth. So it's not just in one section of our countries or our economies or the continent. It's not just sports. It is part of our cultural dilemma and problems that we encounter on that continent. It is unfortunate, fellows. It is very sad that as a great continent, a continent that pretty much bore the world's civilization, humanity. But looking back for the past 1,000 years, 1,500, 200, 2,000 years, we are now like the continent that has become like the useless continent on this planet, which shouldn't be the case. And now we have become so useless to the point that the decisions that are even made by our governing bodies of our organizations and governments and entities have now become a laughing stock to the world, which it shouldn't be, fellows. It is unfortunate. It is very sad. But at the end of the day, we cannot hold anybody responsible for what is happening right now with regards to the situation of Afcon 2026. Look into our own systems, the corrupt systems that have been part of our culture, that we have tolerated and allowed to fester, and more or less also created the problem that has hampered our development. That is what we have to look into and look at every avenue to find solutions to these problems. We cannot just kick down the can and say, oh, because it is sports, it's okay. So let's look at just the sport section of it. No, it is bigger than the sports section. It is part of our cultural problem. It is embedded throughout the whole African system, whether it's the government, the private sector, the individual citizens. We are all part of that problem. And not until we look at ourselves and find a solution to that problem, I'm sorry, this Afcon decision is going to come in another 20, 30 years. It's going to happen again. Because if you live by corruption, you're going to die by corruption. All right, fellas. Thank you guys for listening. God bless you guys and have a great week. Thanks and peace and love.